Again, if you're just joining us for the show for the first time, Double Take, we have 5 subjects and we kind of go back and forth. We have a 2-minute timer and a buzzer.
Which you never pay attention to.
I mean, I hear it, but then everyone's got to finish.
I don't pay attention to it either.
No, we don't pay attention, but we'll try. So the first story, Al Gore says time to say goodbye to coal, oil, and gas worldwide.
Yeah.
I have a lot of opinions on this one. Go ahead, I'll let you start.
No, that's just grandstanding by a guy that's out of it. Okay.
Idiocy.
Was he a good vice president? I'll tell you what, Bill Clinton was a good president, so that made him a pretty good vice president. But the bottom line is, this is just grandstanding. You're not going to get away from all this stuff. And if you look at this $3.5 trillion bill that's now $1.75 trillion, they've got almost $600 billion worth of stuff that is trying to get rid of fossil fuels, and you're not going to do it. I'll give you a statistic. I'll give you one statistic. For the record, oil, gas, and coal are 79% of the U.S. energy consumption. Gore wants to get rid of this stuff. I don't know, Sarah, how you do it.
Well, it's just not possible. I mean, petroleum alone is 35%, and it basically people would be out millions of jobs. Renewable energy only accounts for 12% of what we do, and it's not reliable. That is the biggest issue. You can't harness solar power. They haven't found out a secure way to do this. And on top of that, wind turbines have so many issues. First off, the idea of wind. Wind isn't always going to be going. They can freeze. They basically can never be a total replacement, which means there's always going to have to be a backup,
right,
whether it's coal, natural gas, petroleum. And if you go out too quickly, if you start cutting all of this too quickly, things are going to melt down.
Well, no, what's going to happen? The prices are going to go through the roof, which we're seeing. Yep. I mean, Joe Biden basically said that he was not going to be an anti-gas and anti-oil and anti-anything during the debates. Well, that's totally not true.
Yeah.
He cuts the pipeline, no more drilling on federal lands. And here we sit now. He goes and he's now blaming this on the Middle Easterns.
He's placing it on OPEC. And we were completely energy independent before. We didn't care about OPEC. And now we do.
But here's in closing, these energy policies, would I like to see more electric cars? Sure. Look at what Tesla's been able to do, right? That guy is a genius, right? Would I like to see more? But you can't just turn a switch and all of a sudden say, well, we're in power now and that's it.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, they can be a fuel saver. They can help. They can help save emissions, but they cannot be the sole position.
Correct.
And you cannot.
They're additives to our existing system. And this whole concept about the biggest existential threat, man, he loves to say that. He's got that word down, is climate. I'm telling you, it's not in the top 3.
Well, here's the inconvenient truth, Al Gore. You can't do it. You can't cut that. So it's not going to work. Our next subject, Celtics player says China should not host Olympics. Enos Canner.
All right, what do you think?
I mean, I think it's a bold statement to make. The sneakers that he wore recently had no Beijing 2022, move the games, no rights, no games. And he's been a big proponent of all of the slave labor going on in China, all of the issues going on in China. And why do we, especially Nike, he's come at Nike a bunch of times, why do we care so much about what's going on in America when we're still outsourcing all of our stuff from a country that does the exact same thing? So I understand why he's kind of wanting to call attention to that when it comes to Nike. But I think to completely say a country can't host an Olympics, I think that's kind of just calling a shot in the dark.
All right. So I've been quoted nationally on this when Daryl Morey, who was at the time the general manager for the Houston Rockets, he's now with the Philadelphia 76ers. And there was that discussion about giving the people in Hong Kong saying your freedom's important and everything else. Well, the Chinese Communist Party had a meltdown. They took the NBA games off the networks in China for like a month or 2 months. China is the people in China. I've been there 3 times and I spent over a month and a half there. Okay. The people are good people. The government is absolutely communist. They don't care about their people. They don't care about world affairs. You want to sit around, you want to talk about all these climate issues. As long as India, Russia, and China are doing what they're doing, you're not going to solve anything.
No, not
This
at all.
is all grandstanding. You're not going to solve anything. If you can get them on board, maybe we can make some progress.
And Saudi Arabia.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
This whole Enos Kanter thing, in my opinion, comes down to 4 subjects. Nike and their involvement with China labor, or lack thereof. Hong Kong, remember the one government, 2 systems, okay? Remember that? That was supposed to last for 50 years when they deeded Hong Kong back to the Chinese, the Brits did. They completely disregarded that agreement. Number 3, the NBA. You know, they take the games off the TV, and you got to ask yourself, is the NBA now, are they that desperate that they feel like they're, hamstrung by China? And then you've got the whole LeBron James thing, which was called out by Enos Kanter. You know, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. I thought that's what we're dealing with here.
Right.
If you're going to have any credibility, NBA, if you're going to have any credibility, LeBron and the rest of the players that want this kind of credibility, which they're right to ask for it, you can't close your eyes to what's going on in China. And the last thing I would say is, all indications are now, Sarah, that virus started in the Wuhan lab and that the Chinese government swept it under the rug. They could have saved millions of lives if they didn't do that.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big Chinese fan right now.
Yeah.
I'm not a big China fan. The people are great.
Yeah.
The government, forget
Absolutely
it.
not. All right. All right, our next subject, Abby Huntsman says The View is an unbearable culture that rewards bad behavior.
All right, so is the rumor true that you're interviewing with The View? You're going to leave this show and you're interviewing with The View?
Oh, yeah, that's the next logical step. I
Yeah.
want to leave a respected and educated news show to go on a gossip rag. That's what I want. And I'm calling it a gossip rag on purpose.
So why is The View so popular?
It's popular because
it's the most popular.
Because it brings people drama. So it brings people drama and gossip, and the girls can just get, and I hate to be so, I guess I don't want to be sexist about it, but these women who are on the show kind of get together and just run their mouths about gossip, a lot of time without facts.
Very left-leaning, correct?
Very left-leaning. So there's not even any in the middle aspects of this. So the entire thing is just talking and slamming people who are conservative and groups who are conservative. And the whole thing is just mean and nasty, and they thrive off of that. And a lot of times they think it's funny, and they do it for
Do you blame
humor.
the producers?
I mean, no, they're trying to make money. I mean, everyone's trying to make money in that aspect. The producers, the executive producers, the people who run the show, the GM, the station, I'm sure everyone on the show, they thrive off of it, and that they know that they're making money. People want to watch other people slam other people because it's drama TV.
Well, every conservative voice that has come off of there has had horrible things to say.
It's a toxic work environment.
I like
they say.
Whoopi Goldberg because I thought she was great in Sister Act. I thought she was great in the Color
a good
Purple.
actor.
I liked her. If you watch her on the show, you're looking at a different person.
Oh, yeah.
But I have to be honest, this Joy Behar, she's brutal.
I
mean, it's just brutal. And if there was somebody on the right that was that brutal, they're brutal.
Yep.
I'm not picking sides here.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And Abby Huntsman, at first when she left, she tried not to say a ton about the show. She only said that it was toxic. They tried to get her to retract that statement, but she's like, I'm not lying about it. That's what she said. And then she finally kind of opened up more about it. And she said that people are used on the show like pawns. It's all about money and ratings. And that's why shows like The Bachelor, Bachelorette, like they're drama. People are drawn to drama. They want to watch it because it makes them feel better about their own lives. And don't get me wrong, I love watching The Bachelor, Bachelorette. It's entertaining. And but I think that shows
I would rather
like that.
watch paint dry than that. But that's okay.
Everyone's got their thing, right?
I'd rather watch paint dry.
But I gotta say, The View is not news, in my opinion. It's not news. It's a gossip rag, and it is what it is.
Well, they do pretty good. Yeah. All right. I thought we had to throw something in here today. I convinced Sarah of this ridiculous story that we're going to cover here.
Oh, my God.
But we need a little levity in our lives. A New York woman is suing the Kelloggs Corporation for $5 million because there are not enough strawberries in the strawberry Pop-Tarts.
I have to read this quote from the suit. It says, quote, "The amount of strawberry ingredients is insufficient not merely to provide the nutrient benefits of strawberries, but to provide a strawberry taste." I mean, oh my goodness.
You know,
I just thought this was ridiculous.
You got to have a little levity. Elizabeth Russett is the name of this woman. Now, I did not look her up, okay? And she files this class action lawsuit. Her lawyer, Spencer Sheehan, I did look up. Here's a guy that is an ambulance chaser, no question about it, but he's educated through the roof. Georgetown undergrad, Fordham Law. What the hell are you doing, Spencer? I mean, this has got to be for publicity.
It has to be. I mean, I think the same thing about the person who got the coffee that was too hot from, what was it, McDonald's, right? I mean, that suit, I feel like it's similar. I understand that she burnt herself, but this, I mean, just unbelievable.
How are you gonna prove this? Are you gonna go in front of a court and a jury and you're gonna, I mean, how are you gonna?
I mean, on the Pop-Tarts box, in Pop-Tarts defense, and again, I'm no legal expert, but they say that the pastries have less than 2% of pears, apples, and strawberries.
So it says it.
So it does say it on the box.
Well,
and
Kellogg, they're not dumb people.
Well, no. I mean, they're obviously going to cover themselves. And if you're buying Pop-Tarts, I think you probably know that you're not getting the freshest of fruit.
I mean, you throw it in the toaster and you're on the run with your coffee.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't like a gourmet breakfast.
I was going to say, if you want real strawberries, go out to your produce section and get some strawberries.
All right.
Next story, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, what is their future? And I gotta say, I am so frustrated with the amount of media attention this couple has gotten.
Well, I think that's self-imposed if you really look at it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing on Harry, right? I'm going to give him a pass on a few things.
Okay.
So he grows up in this bubble.
Mm-hmm.
His mother then dies in this horrific car crash.
Mm-hmm.
She's completely doesn't have a life anymore. The royal family kind of pushes her aside when, in fact, her husband is the reason that the marriage didn't work.
Right.
Okay?
Because of
She didn't have
Camilla,
anything
yeah.
to do with this. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
She gets pushed aside. She then dies. The queen then decides, and I like the queen, that they may not even have a memorial service for her that's sanctioned by the government. I mean, you saw what happened.
Mm-hmm.
This became the biggest thing on the planet.
Yeah.
For
there
a long
was a
time.
Beanie Baby named after her, for goodness
And you
sake.
take a look at this, and you got to give Harry a bit of a pass because he looks like a guy who hated that life, who saw it kill his mom. And so therefore, he meets Meghan Markle, and he now has a reason why he can get the hell out of there.
Right.
And he's talking about all these things that my father doesn't like it, my brother doesn't like it. He's ratting everybody out, which the Brits are going crazy on. But for me, I think that Harry has found freedom and relief. That's my read.
And it's so interesting because I've heard so many sides to the story. I've heard that story. I've heard the story, oh, Meghan wears the pants and has a grip on him and doesn't let him be with his family. They've closed off to everyone. I've heard what you've said, that she's finally freed him from this terrible life. I just think if they want to get out of the spotlight, they need to do it on purpose because they're purposely being in the spotlight. I mean, the birthday party, the trip to New York, the bench book, there's all these reasons why they put themselves
The
in
press
the
is
spotlight.
not going to let them be out of the spotlight, though. I mean, this is Diana's son.
Yeah.
His brother is going to be King of England.
Right.
They're not going to let him out of the spotlight. But I don't see it the way that a lot of conservatives see it, that Meghan Markle is this homewrecker, that she's this person that, you have to take her up on the fact that she had some really emotional issues when she was living in that bubble over there.
Yeah.
I could last about 5 minutes.
Oh, she said that she suffered with a mental illness and thoughts of suicide and had actually talked to someone in the palace, and then they had said they basically had swept it under the rug, didn't let her see anyone about it. So, I mean, I imagine that it's a pretty interesting and toxic
I think the
environment.
monarchy is going to change when the queen passes away. And I hope that's not for a long time. I like
Yeah.
the Queen.
Yeah.
But I think things are going to change.
Well, hopefully she stops having her martinis, right? Her gin
No,
martinis.
no, no. Drink more. Drink more.